Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters and the WCS Winter Championship. I know you're still out there. Okay, we are ready for our second semi-final of the day. Two players who have made their way through a round of 32 bracket, a 16 and a quarter-final. It's been a hell of a week for both of these players. Our first player is a Norwegian who has had a fantastic run through the bracket and has already eliminated one of the Koreans. He now needs to do it again. A former Home Story Cup champion, please welcome Team Liquid's Snute. And his opponent has also had a fantastic run through the bracket so far. He is a man who has already got a WCS championship to his name, the champion of 2015 Season 2, attempting another run for his second championship. Please welcome Root Gaming's Hydra.
Two more players fight for a chance to play in the grand finals. Two Zerg players, a former WCS champion, and now the last remaining European in the tournament. But first up, it's Hydra.
That's not Hydra.
Hello there, Snute.
I was so nervous because of the format. Like, it was all or nothing. If I lost the first match, there would be no prize money for me. So I was really anxious, like, oh, what's gonna happen if I lose the first match? You know, it would just be so brutal. It started off so badly. I lost the first map and I just got crushed, to be honest. But I tried to just keep my composure and shake it off and just try to do one game at a time, and I was able to just calm down and relax a bit more. But actually, the first match was insanely difficult as well because of the nerves, the all or nothing nerves. It really brought me down, but I was able to win that one, fortunately. Getting to the final and winning it will be a challenge, but I can win against any of the players that are left. So if I can play my best, then I feel like I have a decent shot. After the match, then having the crowd there to just cheer you on no matter what happens, even if it goes well or even if it goes badly, they're just always there to cheer, and it just gives you such a good feeling, like, wow, playing StarCraft in front of this crowd is just so amazing. I haven't actually been able to stand in front of the crowd like that, so it's going to be the first time that I actually participate as a player down there on stage, so that's going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
Liquid Snute throughout his career has had a lot of ups and downs, but in this tournament, he's seemingly on a high once again. He performed excellently yesterday in the games that we saw, and he's been continuing to put that into confidence, which I think is very important for him coming into this.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make jokes about how calm he seems, but ultimately it actually just kind of serves him. He's not a hype guy. I think the few times we see him shaking and nervous is actually before almost his imminent demise. So it's nice to see him so calm, cool, and collected, and he just says, I can beat all these guys. I just got to play good to do it. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that statement. I think everyone agrees.
He's been one of the best foreigners for a very long time. There was a period of time where he was the foreigner that you pitted up against the Koreans, and he did very well doing it. His actual history against Hydra is very, very close as well, which does serve him well going into this.
Yeah, I mean, he's been looking good this tournament so far. The first round, I actually thought it was going to be very difficult for him, you know, against Major, round of 32, but he was able to succeed. It wasn't easy, but he did win 3-1, and from that point on, he's actually starting to look better and better. And for some reason, whenever I think Snute is like, you know, Snute hasn't been that amazing yet in Legacy of the Void, but if you really focus on his results and his tournament runs, it's actually been really solid. I mean, he picked up $15,000 very early on in that, you know, the tournament in China, which we didn't know that much about. But then when he went to Home Story Cup, he made it to the semi-final. And even DreamHack Leipzig quarterfinal, only lost 2-3. So if you really just look at the numbers, Snute has actually been pretty damn consistent in Legacy of the Void so far. And I think it's safe to say he's playing better StarCraft than he was in 2015, which was the year we had so many expectations of him. But then the 3 seasons, everybody said, out of the 3 WCS seasons, Snute is going to win 1. That didn't happen at all. You know, 1 quarterfinal, round of 32, round of 16. Compare that to Hydra's list, you know, winner, runner-up, and also quarterfinals. But he's playing good now.
It might actually serve him better that he's got less pressure on his shoulders. He is the kind of guy that beats himself up a lot, so no wonder what he might be thinking of other people, what they think of him. So the fact that he's kind of been flying under the radar, but seemingly still doing really well, seems it's working for him.
You'd attribute that to his wins and losses in all these tournaments over the years. You've played against him over the years. You've followed him closely over the years.
Snute's incredibly scary when he's on song. Within regards to just straight up mechanics, he's so smooth, he's so clean. And he was one of the hardest workers coming into the scene. He technically started off as not much, but mad games. He would play thousands upon thousands of games on the ladder, cranking it out. And I remember for a long time, people kind of made fun of him a little bit, but then one day he just was seemingly a god amongst foreigners.
Well, he was one of the cool guys too that like really, he traveled to Korea. I remember he went to Korea, a pretty darn good player. And then people kind of, you know, he kind of fell into a little bit of quietness there, but then came out an absolute monster. He went through that Korean gridiron, came out a different player.
All right, well, that's our first player here in this semi-final. It's time to go towards the other one, a player with seemingly no weaknesses. It's Hydra.
This is the first big tournament in this year, and I always think I have to start the year with the good result. Yeah, Snute has been doing really well since I started playing in WCS. He was a already good player, so he practiced with Laser a lot, so they're gonna probably prepare for my match, so it's gonna be tough, but I think ZvZ is my best matchup at the moment, so yeah, I'm pretty confident against him. Many players say that the stage is awesome and pretty big, awesome clouds. So I really wanna. Before my match, I really wanted to play in the stage. That was actually my goal of this tournament. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Hydra, the WCS Season 2 champion of last year. He was also a finalist multiple times before in many different tournaments. And here he is again playing for another shot at another trophy. And he really has been, Roddy, since he kind of left his Korean team and moved to America, transformed into this consistent machine. I
mean, he was already good. He just didn't have that many opportunities to show it. And after following him for a year, I think he even started off something ridiculous like 62-0 against non-Koreans in best of 3 or longer series before he finally lost one series. I mean, the guy is incredibly good, but he has not looked invincible this tournament. He definitely had tough opponents, don't get me wrong. I mean, Happy in the round of 32, 3-2. Very tough one against Neep, the best American Protoss right now, also 3-2. So he has looked more though, as Nate said early today, but he also looked incredibly good yesterday in his ZvZ series against Elaser, while Elaser was considered to be maybe the best ZvZ player in Europe right now, because he was just winning every single ZvZ. So this is definitely going to be a very tough match for Snute, but Hydra, as good as he is, I don't think he is immortal.
Yeah, he has. I wonder how big the event was that he actually overcame the momentum of Neeb, though. Like, I remember last year, I had the honor of being there at that event where Lilbo surged back after being 0-2, and it felt like everyone in that room knew it was coming, even Hydra, and he got less and less impressive as that series went on. But against Neeb, even though Neeb was able to claw back and make it a close series, it was Hydra that dictated the pace in that final game, and that seems like a new Hydra. It seems like one that knows he is not invincible, as you say. He is here, he is at risk, but in a weird way that almost makes him more dangerous. I feel like he cannot be caught off guard, and he will be that champion that says, is it game 5? Sure, I'll go for some cheese. Let's see how you handle it.
Yeah, what do you think about his play over the years now, Ben, and what makes him so strong and so successful?
Have you seen his keyboard hand? He's insanely fast, man. Like, you see that guy move, and it's like, wow, he could do anything, you know, like, he's insanely quick, insanely... In fact, both these players are very mechanically gifted. Snute more so with the mouse, more of a slower approach, but still incredibly precise. But Hydra, just insanely, insanely fast. Snute's going to have to try and keep up with Hydra in the series.
I think it's going to be a very fun series if you take a look at their ZvZs over the past few days. I mean, Snute had a couple of things that I really loved about his play. You pointed it out, Ben. He's very clean, you know. When it comes to saturating bases and small things like that, Snute always perfect saturation. Hydra, on the other end, he showed us something that we haven't always seen of Korean Zergs. Like, we know that they're incredibly good and fast, but sometimes they were a little tunnel visioned and a little stubborn. And Hydra really showed us yesterday that he's very well aware of the current meta and all the tech switches that are available. And I really think, you know, Hydra living with Cats. Cats may not be as good as Hydra, but he's definitely very open-minded when it comes to the game. Cats, of course, being the team manager of Root. And I really think that helps him in this matchup particularly.
All right, so the game is just about ready. I want your final predictions and final thoughts here. And we're going to start this side of the desk, because usually we go to this side, but in control, you're first.
I'm just going to put out there, my hope and dream is that this is a closer series. It started in the round of 8, but it's been a bit of a butchering, and I think that's because of how big WCS Winter Championships is and IEM Championship here as well. Like, there's so much on the line for all these players that one guy starts to get that momentum and it just doesn't let go. I think it is Hydra. I think we're going to have an all-Korean finals. He just seems to be pretty darn good. He's overcome those nerves. I think it's even going to be like a 3-1.
Well, Hydra has lost the most amount of maps of all the participants here in the semi-finals going into this. But when it comes to playing in front of a crowd, I feel Koreans are just so good at just shutting it out and playing in the zone. That being said, Snute started off this tournament so nervous, and the first game you could really see it took it out of him. He's just getting better and better. I'm going to go with Snute 3-1.
I would love it either way. I mean, I think we're going to have a great final, but I do think that Hydra is going to take this one. I think overall he's just looking incredibly good and clean, and you said it, man, he's so fast. I do think it's going to be close. Maybe 3-2 Hydra.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time to start the second semi-final. Not too far away from the grand final here at the Internet Stream Masters. Let's head over the commentary to kickstart off.
Thank you, Apollo, and Dzień dobry again, Katowice. Hello to all of you esports, especially those StarCraft fans at home. I'm joined with Valdez here, and we are about to begin the second and last semi-final to see who faces Polt in the final.
This is going to be an unbelievably hyped matchup here. These two players are so good at ZvZ. We've had so many ZvZs in the tournament. It's kind of been this side story of this tournament. So many Zergs. Zergs are really strong right now, and they were talking about their predictions. I'm really not sure who to go with.
I'm going with Snute for this one because I've been talking to Jens a little bit over this entire tournament, and we saw they brought it up on the stage. His confidence, very shaken in his round of 32 match. Each and every time, getting a little bit more confident in himself. This guy has a career based off the back of killing Koreans, and he's already beaten one of them. He beat Violet, and he is coming up against one more.
Yeah, that is a very good point, but I love what the guys on the desk were saying about the Koreans once they get on the big stage. You know, Snute, he's won a home story cup. This is not the same thing. Hydra has been on this stage so many times, and the second he gets into that booth, his mindset totally changes. I worry a little bit about Snute, but we'll see what he can do. He's extremely good in the matchup, as I said, and you really cannot count him out here.
Exactly, and we're going to be getting in our first map, which is going to be Prion Terraces. And the second semi-final is just moments away. Here we go in the North Spawn here in the top left. This is Hydra.
And down in the bottom right, in the blue, his opponent, it is Liquid Snute.
See very similar openings from both players, respecting each other, no huge risks. And this map, obviously, we saw it just at the end of the first semi-final. Polt tearing apart Nurchi on this map, the gold map. It is a little bit weird. We do see a lot more units in the early game, but this is a mirror matchup, so other than that, there is not really much map balance to talk about.
Yeah, I really love the games that we do find on this map. Just so much aggression, very, very fast. But you also get those economy plays with the double gold bases. We've seen a lot of great ZvZs on this map, and I think this is really going to be a big start for this series. I think whoever can take this first map is going to be so ahead in terms of the mindset. Imagine getting on that big stage, losing a close game on a map like this. That would be terrifying.
Indeed, and it's already terrifying just walking out there. I mean, you got to feel a little bit of butterflies in your stomach when you come out to the caster's desk with so much energy in this arena, so many StarCraft fans out there in Katowice. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable to be casting in an event like this, in a place like this. These players can definitely feel the energy in the air the second they were walking to the arena even.
That's right. We see an extra gas going down here for Snute. It's getting his Zergling speed. Hydra, not just yet though.
Yeah, not yet, and this is going to be a lot of gas coming here for Snute. It looks like he may want to go for some kind of aggressive opening here.
It certainly looks like it with speed. Also, the Roach Warrant on the way. This looks like it could possibly be one of those pushes where you make a lot of Roaches, Ravages, and then with when you're halfway through the map, you reinforce with a whole bunch of Lings. Of course, that's very dependent on what Hydra goes for here.
Yeah, we really do need to see what the response is of Hydra. He needs to get that scouting information himself. For now, he's just droning up. He's trying to push away the Overlords here.
He's Overlord hunting, and hunting has gotten good. He's going to take out that one Overlord of Snute, which is going to be very annoying as that is a supply block.
Yeah, he's going to get supply blocked, and only now is he making this Overlord here. I think he might have been out of larva there, but he is going to go for this third base at the same time. We don't yet know if he's going to saturate that. I don't think so with the amount of gas that he has mined just yet. Maybe just have that for the extra larva coming out here, the extra units to push across that map, and if the push doesn't work, he's got an extra base to fall back on.
And Hydra taking a different path here. He's going for the tech option instead of the economy option, which could work out for him. It does generally mean that he's going to have more power as the game goes on. His units are going to be a lot stronger, upgrades are going to be better, and he is just now taking a slightly later third than the Norwegian Zerg.
Yeah, he did have that Overlord in a fantastic position to see the timing of Snute's third base.
Snute's actually not making any drones, and he hasn't for a while here. He's just been making Roaches. We definitely thought it might be happening, and that's certainly looking like it might be the case here. Hydra's Overseer, the lair is done, which means it will finish. When it pops, it's going to have full health all over again.
This kind of play, it really reminds me of the way the Polish Zergs were playing. We saw this out of Nerdship. I think we saw it out of a laser as well, just making as many Roaches as possible. And now he is pushing across the map. He's going to make a bunch of Zerglings to follow this up too.
Exactly, with Ravages as well, and why not? That Corrosive Vials, an incredible contributing factor to the new ZvZ that is in Legacy of the Void. And Hydra gearing up to defend this push of Snute.
He's desperately trying to make as many Roaches as possible. He needs to get into a nice concave here. Snute, he's beginning to push the issue. He wants to start poking here with these Ravagers. He's going to snipe actually an Overlord right now. That's going to supply block Hydra too.
It is actually going to supply block Hydra, and that's great, but unfortunately for Hydra, he does have 7 more Roaches on the way, +1 on the way as well. When +1 finishes and Brutal Reconstitution finishes, this could actually be very punishing for Snute. That said though, Snute is pressing the issue and breaking off some Lings to attack the third hatchery as well.
Oh, he doesn't even need to kill Hydra here. He's trying to just get a big advantage. He's got Hydra on the ramp. He cannot possibly defend that third base right now.
And Snute droning up back at home during this attack. This isn't an all-in. It is just a very, very high pressure attack here. 5 more Roaches on the way, and he does get that third hatchery.
He gets that, and he's just going to back off. This is so smart out of Snute. All he has to do now is defend, but Hydra is on the push. He's got that Roach speed, and the +1 is about to finish.
Exactly, just like I said, Valdez, the speed finishing means he can take the chase here. He can concave faster. The concave's so important in ZvZ when it comes down to the Roach headbutt, and +1, obviously, the upgrade advantage going to be so critical here. Snute's pulled back, and he's going to gear up for his own.
And look at how much time he's bought with those Ravagers, just zoning out the Roaches in the middle of the map with the Corrosive Vials. Now he's getting a bunch more Roaches of his own for the defense, and it looks like Hydra is not going to go for the attack just yet.
Oh, cute little play here. Dropping the Contaminate on the hatchery, stymieing the flow of the lava. That is the production of Snute. And Snute going up for the lair just now, but we can see Hydra already has +2 attack on the way, the most important upgrade in ZvZ with these Roach versus Roach kind of games. But a run by here from Snute. He will attack the third. Fortunately for Hydra, a lot of Roaches in position.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to try to commit that. Hydra with a very fast response time. Snute, as you were saying, definitely needs to catch up in terms of that tech. He's doing a fantastic job sniping these Overlords.
Yeah,
nice try by Hydra to try to dodge that one.
It's a very, very tough unit to juke, but somehow Hydra did for a lot of Crucibles there. Does get it in the end. Extra gas is going down for Snute, so now he's going to power. But we can see the Hydra already has been on lair for so long. He's getting an incredibly important upgrade, and Snute's going to be on the back foot. He's going to have to rely on unit numbers and superior economy.
Yeah, and he's trying to go for these snipes here. He tries to go for the run by, but a fantastic block by Hydra. Those Lings are not going to get up the ramp.
Denied. A run by like that could have been very, very horrible for Hydra there, but Snute deflected. Hydra is too good at this game to let that happen.
Snute is just totally foregoing any upgrades here. Finally, we do have the Roach speed on the way, but he is not getting any attack upgrades, any armor upgrades, and as you were saying, +2 about to finish here, +1 armor on the way even for Hydra at this point.
He's going to have some very, very powerful ground units here. So Snute, like I said, has to rely on army supply here. He needs to have just overwhelming numbers and crushing before the upgrades become too much of a contributing factor.
Yeah, he's going to try to add in a bunch of Ravagers as well into the back of the army. We do see Hydra doing just the same here. And just a bunch more of these Overlords on the way. Still no upgrades at all. No Evo Chambers for Snute.
That's right, Ravagers on the way now for Snute. And with the position of the Overlords, with the position of the Roaches under those Overlords in the natural, I kind of felt like maybe he wanted to go for Roach drop or something crazy. We saw a laser whip that out a little bit yesterday. But at this point, doesn't look to be the case, just making more Ravagers. Hydra sees that Snute has a significant army here. But that said, though, Hydra really not far behind at all. And that means when these two armies clash, obviously with the upgrades, it's going to be devastating for Hydra. In fact, as we saw that unit count there, Hydra is in front in drones as well. He's in front in every single way.
He's in front in every single way, and Snute just does not want to get any upgrades. I hate to harp on this point, but maybe he forgot them? I'm really not sure.
I doubt he's forgotten. He's too good at that. This is definitely on purpose, but maybe he's been forced in this position by Hydra. Hydra has really shut the door on any opportunity for Snute in this game so far. And I see that the Overseer is being touched away here, but again, Hydra just has complete vision and knowledge of what's happening here from Snute, and he's left alone. But this said, Hydra now feeling like he wants to press the issue.
Hydra with the 2-1 here. Snute with the 0-0. Snute wants to take the attack. Couple of Corrosive Biles coming down, zoning out the units for now.
Snute has a very slight army supply lead here, but the upgrades definitely means Hydra's army is more powerful. But concaves, positioning, so important in ZvZ. Snute with a nice little concave here in the bottom. The third is semi-vulnerable. If Hydra wants to break off a group of Roaches, could do a bit of damage and split the army of Snute up. And at the moment, concentrating his efforts on the natural choke.
Yeah, and I love this. He's going to try to come in here, trade once again, but he's not going to fully commit. He's getting a fourth base at the same time. He's just backing off, trying to land those Corrosive Biles while getting ahead back at home.
And he's forcing more units out of Snute as well while he powers back at home. Nice Corrosive Bile connections there on Snute's army. And Hydra just engaging a little bit, but just a real intense back and forth here.
Snute, it seems like he wants to take the fight now. He is going to commit to this. He's got a fantastic concave, but now Hydra moving out here with the better concave.
He does. A lot of Hydra's units are getting hurt. A lot of them are actually not here at this attack. And the Ravagers, when they lose their Roach Beat Shield, are just getting decimated. The Hydra upgrades here, certainly showing that he's going to take a dominant position here.
He's going to push it through. GG, Hydra is going to take game number 1.
A very, very solid game. We expected nothing less from this guy. His face is on the banners outside of Sputnik Arena. He is a WCS champion of past. And Snute loses game 1. Hopefully that's not too much of a shake to his confidence and composure here.
Yeah, I don't think it will be here, Maynard. I mean, he looked very, very fantastic in the beginning of that game. He had just a really nice timing off the beginning of the game, and he sniped out that third hatchery. He was just really not able to get anything else off of the back of that. He forwent the upgrades. He was trying to just get as many Ravagers as possible, and it just didn't work out for him.
So next map is going to be Laralac. That is a much larger map. See what the spawns are going to show us here as we get into it. Not far away from game number 2, guys. Hope you're having an amazing time out there. Don't forget to hashtag WCS and IEM. And of course, if you're tuning in, I do believe you get a portrait special Blizzard portrait, and even if you're very lucky, if you link your Twitch to your Battle.net, you may find a sneaky, cheeky copy of Legacy the Void activated, and that is a great coming home gift.
Yeah, you never want to deny any free stuff. Awesome events.
Especially
that,
in StarCraft,
Of course, awesome stuff that Blizzard and IEM have been putting on here. I really have to give a shout out to them as well. And we are just about almost ready to get into the second game.
That's right. The picture here for the grand final here at the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice, this world final in Katowice, once again, always showing good games. Always the hype is here. The crowd is amazing. The place is amazing. It never disappoints.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting story between these two players. Jeff was talking about how it definitely could be an all-Korean finals, but this man right here, Snute, he is the one person that's trying to deny that. He's down a game, but he definitely could come back here and make a stand against Hydra.
If anyone could, it is this guy. He's done it before. He's beaten Violet in the round of 8, and he is here in the semifinals. One more Korean stands between him and that grand final, and then he is up against the ZvZ monster that is Pulse.
Yeah, and of course, these two players trying to get into the finals. They want to get that trophy. They want the money. They want the points. They want the glory.
They want the money. They want the power. And they definitely want that trophy. It is the most beautiful trophy I've seen in a very, very long time. And it looks like game number 2 has begun. Guys, let's make some noise in the bottom right here from Root Gaming. This is Hydra.
And in the top right, his opponent in the blue from Norway, it is Snute.
The Team Liquid, Foreign Hope. Does he have what it takes? Just running up here, both players very, very, very safe and getting actually a little bit of greed here, going for the hatchery first.
Yeah, starting it off as a gentleman's agreement, as we like to call it.
Yes.
Let's play the macro game. Nothing silly, nothing freaky early on here in this game. And Laralat Crest, a big map, as you were saying.
Yeah.
These guys are going to spawn at vertical spawns on the right side of the map.
They actually have a reasonably close, or actually it is a close rush distance when you spawn this way. Not a long wander at all to get to the other base. Pretty similar to Prion.
Yeah, and it looks like Snute is going to get the advantage here in terms of scouting. He's definitely going to see that hatchery turn right around so that Hydra himself doesn't have any idea where he's coming from.
That's right, so both players, you see that he has spotted the spawning position of his opponent here, and Hydra now knows where Snute is as well. Mirrored builds so far for both players.
Yeah, and Hydra immediately going to send those overlords on the way to Snute's base, trying to get that scouting information. We saw Snute in that last game trying to go for a bit of a timing attack, just as many roaches as possible, hide them from your opponent. It's been getting more and more popular in this, in this patch of Legacy of the Void. Didn't really work out for him in terms of the overall loss of the game, but do you think we could see something like that once again on this map?
Quite possibly. ZvZ is one of those matchups, though, where anything can happen. You certainly have stuff that's safe, stuff that's crazy. Shenaniganry, not going to be shown here at the moment. With obviously, when you go hatch first, it is quite, the gentleman's agreement. I'm not going to try and all-in you or harm you in the early game. Hydra going for the Baneling Nest here. We have to keep an eye, and so is Snute actually. You have to keep an eye on when the speed finishes, how many Zerglings they make. Are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to time this with an attack? Are they going to use them for defensive purposes?
It looks like Snute here is going to be the first player trying to go for that third base. Is not going to opt for the base outside. And oh, wow, Hydra has not spotted this.
He did not spot it, which is a little bit of a shame, but it looks like Hydra's being very cheeky here.
Oh, look at this. He's going to hide it on the left side of the base.
And I know what this means. He wants to turn these into Banelings. He is in vision now, though, and Snute has spotted them, sending some lings there. Oh, that's definitely a bit of a sigh of relief there for the Norwegian Zerg.
That could have been so dangerous. That could have been upwards of 5, 6, 7 drone kills, and in a mirror matchup like that would have been deadly.
Oh, absolutely. Drone kills. If you're down 5 drones or something, that's huge in ZvZ, especially at 3 minutes. Speed finished now. Snute cleans up Hydra's lings. Banelings being morphed here by Snute on the ramp. He's very, very wary of a ling flood here from Hydra.
Yeah, just trying to play it a bit safe here. These two players playing very mirrored builds here. Just the safe Baneling Nest, not trying to go overly aggressive here. Snute got that third base slightly earlier, so I feel like he does have the slight advantage as of yet in terms of economy.
And Snute is going for sort of the option that's better in the later game. A nice pick off there, getting that one Bailing with the circling, and he's in the main. Is he going to get a drone here? Any kind of damage with your Ling is nice. Doesn't quite get it, but traded with the Bailing nicely there, does Hydra. And Snute gearing up for the later tech. He's up 4 drones, he's getting his gases, he's ready to power into the mid game.
Yeah, he's got this Roach Warren here a little bit faster than Hydra. He also has a slight advantage in the drones. He's just been getting small advantages here and there. And now he wants to get a scout of his own, but ooh, nice deny there by Hydra.
Yeah, he gets the 3 Lings. He at least takes out a Bailing. The Ling's worth quite damage, but that means he doesn't get to see what's going on in Hydraville. Hydra, however, has seen pretty much exactly what's been going on in Snute's base. Hasn't seen the Roach Warren just yet, but he's just about to. There it is.
Yeah, look at this. 2 Lings getting to the main base. No deny to the scouting here by Snute. Hydra is going to see absolutely everything.
Yeah, he gets a good idea there. The Queen aware that there is a Ling here and not going to let that turn into a sneaky, cheeky Bailing.
Yeah, I gotta take that out here. We do have the lair once again, about halfway done here for Hydra. Trying to go the tech route once again, whereas Snute seems like he just wants to make more and more units, very reminiscent of game number 1.
That's right. So, I mean, it is possible to overwhelm the upgrade advantage with more units. It's certainly seen it happen before. It will happen again. But Hydra obviously played an incredible game 1, evened out the economy, actually. And that's actually a nice pick-off, getting 1 Bailing for 2 very hurt Lings there. Not bad at all. Hydra getting his Roaches out. Snute already hitting with a timing here. A lot of Roaches. Hydra will have the defender's advantage. He's very close to his hatchery. He's very close to his lava. So it's going to be tougher for Snute to reinforce this, but he is trickling Roaches across the map.
He's getting those units across here. Even Lings with speed trying to join here. The Queen's trying to help defend here for Hydra.
The Ravagers are out. They're very, very good at repositioning. Roaches doing damage as well. Hydra pressing the issue, though, moving up with the Queens. 4 Queens down here. 3 Queens, sorry. And a bunch of Roaches deflect the Norwegian.
Yeah, not able to get any big type of damage done here, but he forced a lot of units out of Hydra, and he does have more drones back at home. In fact, 15 more drones for Snute.
That's a very huge economy advantage here for Snute. And with Lair not super far behind Hydra, that means that he's actually, look, his upgrades are married up here. He's going to have Roach speed later, yes, but he has that huge drone lead.
Yeah, this is not going to look like game number 1 towards the end of this game. Snute definitely going to be getting the upgrades this time around, and you definitely have to hand it to him. He's in quite a good position at this point in time. Hydra now trying to do a bit of scouting with this Overseer, see exactly how many drones Snute has at all these bases.
Yeah,
so
look how saturated that third is. Hydra's going to see that with the Overseer. Hydra's been very good with his Overseer, actually. He's prided himself being very aware of Snute's position and what he's looking forward to. We see the Hydra popping out 7 drones to catch up with Snute here.
Yeah, you could see just how unsaturated the third base of Hydra was. And we do have a Hydra Den, in fact, coming down here for Snute in the base, but this Overseer is coming around and is going to see the timing of that.
And this is when things get interesting for the ZvZ. Hydra's an incredible, they classify it as a glass cannon. They're light units, not very many hit points, very expensive, but do insane DPS when they're behind the Roach lines.
And this is really interesting because when Hydra went up against Elazer, and Elazer tried to make a big Hydra composition with Lurkers, Hydra went into mass Bailing and rolled over the army of Elazer.
Literally.
Are we going to see him do the same thing once again? He does see the Hydra Den. And it seemed like it was a good strategy for the time.
And he already has the Bailing Nest, so that's certainly a very viable thing, Valdez. More Roaches being pumped out by both players. They're powering in, they're getting their battle units, as the Muslims would say. And there's the Lurker Cavern for Snute. And the Lurkers are insanely cost-effective in ZvZ if you pick the right engagements.
Yeah, and so far at the base of Hydra, he hasn't gotten any other tech. He's just making only Roaches here.
Bailing.
This is the Bailing is going to scout everything. You are exactly right. And is Snute going to be able to hold off this attack? He's got less. Well, actually, they are actually exactly even in terms of Roaches, but more and more Roaches coming across the map here for Hydra.
He's trying to hit before Hydralists come into play, but there are no Hydralists here for Snute. Hydra coming up here, wrapping around, trying to take this engagement. Corrosive Files hitting the Ravagers of Hydra at the back here, actually. And with Snute's reinforcements, it's looking like he may be out of hold here. There is a lot of units from Hydra, but the Norwegian Dirk is going to deflect this.
The fantastic concave in defense here for Snute. The Ravagers in the back landing their Corrosive Files, and he is going to thwart off the attack of Hydra.
Nice hold here from Snute. Oh, taking a Corrosive File there on the Ravagers. Needs to be careful, doesn't lose too much. Hydra could be reinforcing this, and he is, but a lot of his units are very, very low here.
Yeah, Snute on the chase for just a little bit, but those Ravagers so effective at zoning out the units and buying yourself time. And now what is the option here for Hydra? He's just making more and more roaches. He's trying to get the +2, but it's behind Snute.
See, Hydra's plan there looked like he wanted to hit before there were Hydralists, before Lurkers came out. He wanted to try and go for a critical damage there. It would be very tough to kill Snute, but critical damage, stopping him from getting those Hydralists out. Now, he hasn't been able to do that. He failed. This means that Snute is going to have Hydralists with his army. An insane extra amount of DPS is about to fatten this, this Roach and Ravager ball of Snute. Hydra going to get a 4th hatchery, Snute as well.
Yeah, gonna be similar timings there, and a lot of these Hydras already being morphed into those Lurkers, 3 of them on the way. And Hydra really does need to identify that this is the switch here for Snute.
Well, he's going to try and overwhelm with Roach numbers. Kind of pretty much what Snute did in the game number 1. I'm going to just make more units and hopefully just, instead of having the tech units, just have more Roaches than you and overwhelm. Will that happen though?
Hydra trying to get the scout there on the 4th base, and he doesn't see it. So maybe he thinks that Snute is overcommitting to the defense here, not trying to get an extra base.
Well, I mean, he saw the rocks go down. There might be a tell there. We're not too sure. We have Hydra taking the middle of the map here. He has the watchtower, and this is what you're talking about, Valdez. Centrifugal hooks on the way, 30 lings on the way. He's going to make a big ball of 8 lings.
This is going to happen once again, Maynard. I can't wait to see if Hydra's going to make this work a second time. This is such an interesting strategy, something that you just do not see very often.
He's a creative and very incredibly good Zerg Hydra is. He has the control, the macro, the hand speed, everything you need to make these crazy sort of late game decisions work. Both players completely maxed here. They are just minutes away from clashing.
Yeah, and Hydra now, he has secured this 4th base. Snute does do a nice job of scouting this out.
Yeah, aware of that 4th. Sees that there, pays the ultimate price, does that Overlord, but it gives Snute the middle of the map. He has the high ground here, he has the watchtower. Hydra now coming up, and both armies are about to collide. The Lurkers do drop now, and they're shooting their spines through the ground. A little bit of damage there, not the connection Snute wanted. Corrosive File's obviously pretty good against Lurkers as well.
Nice job by Hydra so far to snipe out a couple of those Lurkers, and he's just going to go around the Lurkers. He's not going to allow Snute to get a fantastic position at the top of that ramp. He's trying to bring Snute back and use the Lurkers against him.
That's right, he's circumnavigating the Lurkers here. Snute flashing on the back, and Hydra breaking up some units. A huge ball of A-Link thrown through, and take out a lot of Roaches. It looks like Snute may have enough, though. He's got a huge surround on Hydra's army, and is up his supply. 25 more Roaches on the way for Snute. He didn't die with a Baneling hit like a laser did. He is still holding on.
He's holding on here. He's got the better economy. The Roaches of Snute trying to come from behind, but he needs to group up. He can't be fighting with half of his army right now.
One Lurker here is actually going to support very nicely against these units of Hydra.
Look at how much damage that Lurker is doing. All of these units of Hydra. Hydra may have just gone a little bit too far.
Yeah, he definitely took
going to have the advantage.
A lot of unnecessary damage there from that Lurker, and that goes to show, look at the resources lost there. Snute ahead in the resources lost. Hydra definitely didn't have the favorable engagement, and that goes to show that one Lurker is a small example of how good they can be when they catch your unit, the units of your enemy unawares. Snute finally, he's aware of his 4th Hydra, now can try and attack.
Yeah, I love the Baneling idea out of Hydra, especially once you get to those maxed armies. The Banelings don't add any extra supplies, so it's just such an interesting idea once the units of your opponents group up. Unfortunately, even though it worked out in that one fight, I think he overcommitted slightly, and that may lead to his demise.
And this is a nice run by Hydra. He could potentially get the hatchery here. Snute not in position to be able to save it.
Yeah, it looks like it. The hatchery is getting very low, and it is going to fall here in just a second.
There we go. Like, what? It does go down. Hydra does get that hatchery. That's a very nice pickoff. Cutting into the economy of Snute. Very close in harvesters here. Very similar drone supply. And that means this kind of forces Snute's hand. He needs to do damage, counter damage to Hydra.
Yeah, he's going to try to retake that 4th base at the same time. Hydra's got a fantastic position in the middle of the map. He has so much scouting information. He knows exactly where Snute is, and Snute's going to run into this army.
He does indeed. These Lurkers are so important. They do burrow, and they're shooting their spines on Hydra's army. I don't think Hydra should stay here. The Lurkers are actually doing a bit. Oh, never mind. A reinforcement of Roaches on the ground. He has the top game at the bottom.
And the Lurker's trying to get into a position here. Snute coming from behind, getting that position. As you were saying, Snute now on the chase, trying to get Hydra Hydra here.
I think he killed his own Overseer, but it doesn't matter. He still has one left over. He's pressing forward to the fourth hatchery of Hydra. Here's a 20 supply army lead.
And there it is. He's pushing it in. These units are slowly fading for Hydra. Snute, it looks like he may be able to take this game too.
It's looking like it, Valdez. The Lurker's coming in clutch for the Norwegian Zerg. The fourth hatchery in trouble. Hydra cannot reinforce. GG. Snute ties it up. What a beast.
This is now a series, Maynard.
We've got ourselves a series, Valdez.
Exactly. Snute is not going down without a fight, even though it is game 2. Tying it up 1-1 will do wonders for his confidence in himself and for the fans in him as well. Hydra's got to be feeling the burn.
Yes, indeed. These Koreans are known for their composure, not letting things affect them like map losses, giant stages, loud crowds. They really have that ability, that genetic ability to just be able to shut it out and play their best games. Snute, though, showing us that he's not going to be an easy pushover here. If this wants to be a complete Korean finals, he needs to get through this incredibly strong Norwegian Zerg.
Yeah, and Snute, you can just see how confident he looks like. The guys on the desk were talking about it. He was just slowly playing on that stage. He played 3 times. Now he's on the big stage. He just keeps winning. He's no longer nervous. He's getting into the mindset of someone like Hydra, and this is going to be such an even series from here.
Next map is going to be Dust Towers, a pretty long rush distance on that map. So a little bit tough for roach marches and that sort of thing, but we've certainly seen them before. Just moments away from the third match here, Valdez.
Yeah, I
Are you
love
feeling
this
it?
map.
You know, the energy here?
I love it. I love this crowd. Being in Poland is just amazing.
That's right, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching from home are feeling the energy as well. How can you not?
Dust Towers here going to be a really interesting map, Maynard. We saw multiple times, especially the Polish Zergs, loving to do that drop play. Nerchio really trying to get into the backdoor base. This is Dust Towers. This does have that backdoor base. Will either of these players be trying to go for any kind of aggression like that? I think it's a really interesting new kind of style that these Zergs are playing.
That's right, and new styles indeed. We've seen Hydra try and whip out something new with the mass Banelings trying to deal with Lurkers and Hydras and that sort of thing. And it is quite amazing. Like, that many Banelings kill everything on the ground, but when you have enough roaches with upgrades, they do tend to hold. And there is just, I mean, the ZvZ, any matchup in Legacy of the Void, nothing's been really figured out yet. The game is ever evolving, ever changing. We're going to see matchups change right in front of our eyes as we see in the bottom spawn here from Root Gaming. This is Hydra.
And his opponent in the top right, in the blue, from Team Liquid, give it up for Snute.
Sounds like the crowd is behind Snute here, the Team Liquid Zerg. Both players once again with a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, it does make sense on this map. It's going to be very hard to deny that backdoor base. And so both players are going to go for it. Sometimes we do see players in a ZvZ getting the outside base to try to get that creep ready, to try to get that defense, but both players just going to play very, very safe in this matchup.
And we're seeing slight differences here. Hydra going gas into pool and Snute remaining gasless for now. This usually means that he wants to, oh no, he's just going to take a little bit later, but it just means he's going to have an extra couple drones.
Yeah, extra drones, getting that economy out here. He's going to have a slower Ling speed, but maybe he won't even go for it. Maybe he'll try to save that gas for something else. It's going to be really interesting to see how these builds unfold.
That's right, and like you mentioned, there is a possibility to take the hatchery out the front and generally where the third is. That means you have spine crawlers down there already. If you have any kind of Baneling aggression, it's quite nice. Queens can block that ramp quite easily on Dust Towers. It's a very small ramp. So yeah, going for the back door does mean that they do still have that little ramp there to contend with, but it's not such a big deal. They don't have pre-spread all the way there, but they generally, with Overlord spread, you know what your player is going to do for the most part. The cool thing about ZvZ is you have a lot of knowledge. The Overlords spread out on the map. You have creep as well for vision. You get your Overlords parked over the naturals. You see gas counts. You see all sorts of things. Nothing like
like hallucinations or scans, something that takes energy and resources away from you.
Yeah, and you're talking about scouting information. We saw from Hydra last time continuous speedling scouts. He gets them into the base over and over and over again. Will Snute be able to deny that this time? Hydra is going to have the faster Ling speed, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does go for more Lings into the base, trying to get that scouting information this time around.
That's right, and with that later gas does mean Snoot's going to get that hatchery a little bit quicker than Hydra, and he is going to drop a Baneling nest back at home as well. Hydra getting the Evo chamber though.
Ooh, that's really interesting. I don't think this is going to be very fast. Upgrades definitely could be an Overlord drop that we are seeing here. Oh, it is going to be actually the melee here first.
Yeah, okay, so we've seen this as well in this weekend. Going for the +1 attack. It's a little bit interesting. We saw TLO do it actually in his series. Didn't really pay out for him, but it could come into play here. +1 attack on the way, speed just about to finish for the Korean Zerg.
It's looking a lot like that game of TLO versus Ayasano, exactly like you were saying, because Snute is just like Ayasano, he's getting that safe Baneling nest. It's going to do wonders against a mainling Zergling composition. It's going to be amazing here for Snute.
Absolutely. 12 Lings on the way for the Norwegian Zerg. We see Hydra coming in here with his own Ling, seeing what's up. Nothing really to take away from it. There's no super huge tells here. Looks quite standard. Nearly gets a drone kill there. Oh, nice defense there by Snute.
Yeah, really nice, Magger. Looks like maybe he lost one drone there. And Snute's making a bunch of Lings at the same time, morphing 3 Banelings. He wants to put on the pressure here onto Hydra.
He's absolutely pressing the issue here, Valdez. He's right in front of the third, making some Banelings right in Hydra's face. Hydra has to pull the Queens here to help out. He's definitely got the Ling count advantage at the time being. Hydra making 12 more. Here come the Lings of Snute. Does he have enough to bust through?
Baneling gets a pretty good hit there. Now one Queen is going to get very low. Snute is going to break the rim, but who's Baneling it?
A nice connection on the Lings of Hydra as Snute is in the front door. Here he comes with the Banelings.
These drones are totally unprotected. Snute somehow, some way has gotten into the main base, and he's getting huge amounts of damage done here.
Oh, Hydra taking a lot of economy damage here from the Lings of Snute. Even if he doesn't kill him right now, great start here for the Norwegian Zerg.
It's finally been cleaned up, but the damage has been done. Losing 6 drones here back at home the entire time Snute was droning up, and he has the Baneling nest to defend the Lings of Hydra.
So Hydra has more army supply, but they are not Banelings. Snute can trade very well if it comes down to it. He's making a Baneling here. He has 2 more on the ramp. 2 more Banelings coming in here. Snute connecting not so great with that first one. A lot of the Lings of Hydra getting surrounded around the Queen. He's trying to save his drone line as well. The Queen does go down.
4 more Lings coming out here for Snute. He's trying to defend this as best as he can. He has lost 6 drones of his own. He has to go to the main here.
This counter damage from Hydra might be critical here. He's gotten 8 drone kills, and he's evened out the drone lead. Actually, the drone lead still in Snute's favor, heading into the back natural.
That +1 doing wonders right now for Hydra. This is the kind of damage that he wanted to get. It looks like eventually these Lings might be cleaned up here. But again, the damage has been done on the opposite side this time.
It has 10 drone kills. Snute still with the lead though, and he has Roach Tech. 10 Roaches on the way, 11 Roaches for Snute, and this is going to be a very powerful thing for him as he heads across the map. We can see that +1 coming into effect for Hydra. He just doesn't have the numbers.
And look at this, Hydra trying to go into a Spire at the moment. I'm not even sure if he knows about these Roaches coming out here. Does have a Spine Crawler on the way, so I think he does know that there is some aggression coming across the map.
Just one Spine Crawler, Valdez. There are 11 Roaches about to join us. They are on the field. They're going to become Ravagers. 14 more legs here for the Norwegian Zerg. He's going for a huge timing attack.
Oh, and now Hydra knows about it. He has scouted all the Roaches. He immediately needs to make more Spine Crawlers here. Another one on the way.
He needs to buy time for these Mutalisks to come out. It's going to be tough, though. Snute already has begun the Roach March. Hydra trying to slow down, catching reinforcements. Anything he can do with these +1 Lings is going to help him out.
These +1 Lings are doing such a wonder. He's turning around the entire army of Snute right now because these +1 Lings, even if it's an even Ling number, are going to do so much better against the Lings of Snute.
The Roaches turn around a little bit there. Hydra succeeded in delaying the push, but he is coming across the map now. Lair halfway done for Snute. Spire now finishing for Hydra, making 18 Banelings.
18 Banelings, he needs to go for the money hits here. Snute needs to identify these Banelings are coming down. He does see it, he needs to split his Roaches.
Does indeed. The Roaches are going to get through the static defenses of Spine Crawlers. The Banelings are here though, and does Hydra have enough? Nice splits from Snute. Takes a lot of the hits there, making Banelings of his own, and he's all over the third of Hydra.
Unbelievable splits from Snute there, and the Queens on the ramp is not going to be enough to defend this one.
Doesn't look like we're going to see Mutalisks in this game, Valdez. Snute is really hammering down the issue. He's punching through the front door. The third is in shambles. He's droning back at home. He's very happy with his damage.
Got the roaches on the ramp now. No surround for your +1 Lings here, Hydra. He is going to try to come from the back here and eventually clean this up. But again, the damage has been done.
You have very aptly said. And we will actually see Mutas. Didn't kill him there. How is Hydra is more like a roach than a Hydra. He doesn't die to the nuclear fallout of Snute's our constant aggression in this game.
So now Snute on the defense. He's got a couple of banelings here. One decent hit, the other one not so good. But he does have some roaches popping up, but this is a lot of +1 Lings.
There are a lot of +1 Lings, and the Queens are starting to die. Does he have enough to punch through? Roaches help out a whole ton against Zerglings. The upgrades really show that they're shredding. Their teeth are very, very sharp. Muta's on the way now, and I don't think Snute is aware. He is now, as his Overlord goes down to the Mutalisk, gonna have to drop some anti-Mutalisk countermeasures here in his main. Third, natural. Hydralisk's already on the way at least.
Yeah, and look at this, a Nidus network on the way. It looks like he wants to put on pressure back at the base of Hydra. Hydra is going to scout this.
And the Spore's not quite done yet, so the Mutas are getting some drone kills. Not that many Hydralisks to be able to engage the Mutaball just yet. The Queen's doing an all right job at batting them away, though.
So many Queens out here for Snute. It seems like he was prepared, regardless of if he knew it was coming. Oh, a cancel on the Nidus network. He's going to try to trick Hydra here.
Yes, indeed. Dropping an infestation pit instead. A little bit of mind games here for the Norwegian Zerg. Will it pay off, though, is the question. The Mutas heading through. They're going to see the kill. The Mutas coming in here and being really nice with the scouting of Hydra. Going to see the infestation pit. They see the Nidus cancel.
Yeah,
He
so
change up his play.
either way, I mean, the Nidus probably wouldn't have been very effective after being scouted, so Snute not going to cancel his infestation pit or anything crazy like that, just going to commit to this tech.
Still with a very healthy drone lead there, and getting that Hydralisk upgrade for the speed and the range on the Hydralisk, very, very important. Mutas coming in for any chip damage they can do for free is nice for Hydra here.
Yeah, just doing a bit of damage to that gas, delaying the mining here of Snute.
Snute is communicating to infestors, is getting pathogen glands on the way, and they help out immensely. If you remember the ZvZ of old, or if you're a new StarCraft fan and you don't remember, it was all about the Roach Infestor back in the day in this matchup, and they are still an amazing tool in ZvZ.
So many Mutas out on the map right now for Hydra. He needs to get this damage done.
Oh, wow.
Sniping so many.
He's actually killed so much of the supply cap of Snute here. He's got 110 out of 90. He needs to spend a lot of lava on Overlords just being forced to make 6.
Oh, and look at this. He's got a nice little position, but he is going to be forced back by Snute, now having many, many Queens in the Hydra's 4 defense, making 5 Infestors at a time right now. Now Hydra needs to be careful about what kind of harass he does with this many Infestors on the map.
That's right, 5 Infestors of Snute about to hatch here. He already has 2 on the field. Pathogen Glands is done. They have Fungals ready to shoot. Hive on the way for both players. Hydra with a very healthy Muta count, darting back and forth. Doesn't want to lose any of them though. They are his tool to be able to do damage to Snute, as Snute has the more powerful ground army. Once again, we see the Lurker Cavern come down here, and we saw how good Lurkers were in Game 2.
Yeah, and back at the base of Hydra, he's getting that Baneling speed while making a ton of Spine Crawlers, so he's going to really commit to a lot of Mutas here and go for a bunch of Banelings as well, just like he did against a Laser.
See the Spore Crawlers of Snute are in the main. There is a healthy number of them. Deflects Hydra. He doesn't want to dive in over that. And Hydra taking a cheeky 4th location all the way out here.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, he's going to have a lot of map control, so just forcing the units up there. If the units of Snute have to walk so far to the north, he can use that time to do damage in the back door of the base with his Mutas.
And this is something interesting. We haven't seen it yet, but we got a Viper on the way here for Snute, and this is an incredible anti-Mutalist tool. With that parasitic bomb, a very tough thing for a Muta player to deal with. Look at the supply difference. Snute's got a huge supply lead. Hydra is about to kick in though. He has supply missing for a reason, and that is because he's making an Ultralisk Cavern, and he is going to get the big boys on the ground very, very soon.
And this is going to be a big surprise here. I'm not sure if Snute is going to have the necessary units to fight this off. This is going to be so many Ultras popping out here.
Yes, indeed. He's got a nice healthy bank and a 50 unit supply cap. He is ready to pump units out, and Hydra keeping Snute at bay with these Spine Crawlers. Not coming into contention just yet. We see the Lurkers on the way. How are Lurkers going to fare against these Ultralists? We got the Kindness plating on the way, +2 armor as well. Snute has +2 attacks for his Roaches and Hydras.
Yeah, making 5 of these Ultralisks. I think the Ultras are going to be fantastic against the Lurkers. If they can get on top of that army, they can do a huge number to both the Infestors and the Lurkers. So a very nice response here by Hydra. And I really want to see how this one is going to go. This is a very, very long ZvZ here.
It is indeed. We're getting into the late game here as we head towards the 13-minute mark. The Mutalisk coming in and just getting a bit of scouting information. Not too much of a tell here, but 7 Ultralisks of Hydra are going to come join this field here. And Snute has his 4th up. Hydra does as well, but in a position unbeknownst to Snute. Snute just about approaching max. He has the Viper versus the Mutalisks.
Looks like a Viper went down as well. I think he was sniped. Yeah. Very nicely done by Hydra to really just deny any damage from that parasitic bomb.
And that means he continues to rule the sky, but hold that thought. +1 leagues, +2 leagues coming in here, doing a lot of damage to the 20 drones.
20 drones going down just like this. Unbelievable damage done by Hydra. And this is really going to set Snute on the back foot. Is he going to go for an attack? He may just have to.
It kind of forces your hand when you take that kind of econ damage. He knows his opponent must be around 4 bases right now. He doesn't see it with the Overlords, though. He still doesn't know about that 4th hatch of Hydra.
Yeah, and Snute right now going for an Ultralisk Cavern of his own, but he doesn't have any melee upgrades. He has +2 ranged upgrade. He's committing to the +3. Look at this. Hydra's going to come in the main now and try to do some damage to the Queens.
Yeah, splitting Snute's attention here, making him scared of this large meter block, and they are starting to burn through the transfuses of this Queen. It looks like Snute's not taking the bait, though. He's moving in with his army, and he's looking for that 4th hatchery. He hasn't found it just yet. Ultras are setting up for Hydra on that high ground there. And again, more drone kills of Hydra. Huge econ damage to Snute.
And Snute kind of caught out in the middle of the map here. These mutas really need to be dealt with. The Hydra's now going to do a nice number, but Snute has taken 17 drones in damage, and he turned his entire army around from the middle of the map.
Exactly. Getting the job done is Hydra. Snute is still up a hefty supply lead, so his army must be incredibly huge.
Yeah, it really is. 140 to 98. I think if Snute does go for the attack here, he should have a very nice attack, as long as he gets his Lurkers in position.
He's 10 drones behind Hydra right now, which is significant, but not critical. And he has a huge army supply lead. Obviously, he doesn't know the position he's in. If he goes for attack, it could potentially go amazingly for him. He doesn't know. He wants 10 more Lurkers before he presses the deal there.
This is just going to be unbelievable. Maybe 6 Lurkers isn't enough against this many heavily upgraded Ultralisks. And it looks like now Hydra wants to push across the map himself.
Does indeed. Plenty of these Ultras. They're kind of rough in a choke, though. But you know what unit loves chokes? These guys, the Lurkers.
And he's got them all bunched up here. Is this going to be enough for Hydra? Here comes the attack.
It is indeed. The Ultras are right in there, but look at their health bars drop here from the Lurkers. Is it going to be enough? We have invested Terrence joining the falls here. Snute doing DPS with his Hydralists in the back, and the Ultralists are starting to fall.
So many of the Lurkers surviving as well. Snute with a fantastic defense, and Hydra now with not much back at home. Only 4 Ultralists on the way, and Snute is moving across the map to win this map.
He's in a fantastic position to take this game, Valdez. The Ultralist doesn't want to hug these Lurkers. It would be nice to take them out, but will it even be enough? Snute has so much more supply than the Korean Zerg.
He's going to push up this natural ramp. Now there are a lot of spine crawlers, but that is not going to be enough.
Lurkers don't care about spine crawlers.
Look at how many upgraded units here Snute has. He's going to push the issue now.
And the Ultralists are just not enough a number here from Hydra. Snute is going to take game number 3 here against the Korean Zerg. He is pressing through the GG, forced to tap out. Snute shaking a little bit there. He is 1 map away from a finals appearance versus Poles.
It seems like he can't even believe it himself. He is moments away. 1 simple, small map to take away from this Korean Zerg to move on to the finals on the biggest stage he has ever been on. It's got to be an amazing feeling.
Incredible. Emotions, energy running high here. Before we return for game number 4, we have to take a short break. Guys, don't go away. We'll see you for game number 4 very shortly. G'day guys, welcome back to Spodek Arena in Katowice, Poland. We are getting ready for game number 4 in this incredibly intense semi-final. We find ourselves with Root Gaming's Hydra 2 maps away, and we have Liquid Snute 1 map away from that grand final appearance.
This has been the closest and the most brutal, ferocious. It's been so feisty, so much fighting between these 2 players. They're both so smart in this matchup. I really couldn't pick it before, but Snute is looking fantastic right now. You can see the seriousness on Hydra's face. He knows he's been in this position before, and he definitely could come back, but Snute in a great position.
Absolutely, he's beaten Koreans before, and Hydra has also been a WCS champion for. Guys, do not forget, we are playing for not only the Intel Extreme Masters Championship, we are also playing for a spot at the WCS Global Playoffs. And in the top left of Ruins of Ceres, this is Root Gaming's Hydra!
1 game away from making it into the finals in the blue from Team Liquid. Give it up for Snute.
Looks like the crowd is on his side. Let's see if it gets him through. Patch first from both players. The gentleman's agreement once again.
Yes, another very, very big map. We saw how on Lorelei Crest it went to a very long game, very, very close. Again on Dust Towers, this time going to be a 4-player map. These 2 players going to find out very quickly that they are not at vertical spawns and go for builds that do pertain to where they are.
Yep, mirrored builds from both players here, going for the hatch, gas, then the pool. It's the strongest, safest sort of opening you can do in this matchup.
Yes, and because even though they aren't at vertical spawns, this is the next closest position. You got a nice little path going directly to the 3rd base of your opponent. And we saw actually very similar positions between Hydra and a laser just in the bottom side of the map. And we saw Hydra really using his Mutalisk play as well as his Banelings. That's really where he showed off his Baneling play. And just his intelligence in the map, in the matchup rather, was really, I feel, showcased on this map against a laser.
Exactly, a ZvZ masterclass against the Polish Zerg. Hydra, of course, we know, punched on through, got himself a semi-final appearance. And we see things starting to shake up a little bit here. We got Snute going for speed. Hydra getting a tiny little bit later there, just the extra couple Zerglings instead.
Yeah, it's only going to help out slightly here for Snute. Maybe he could get some lings into the base of Hydra a little bit easier, or win a trade out on the map. A very small difference here between the builds.
That's right. And actually, yeah, wow, they have been mirrored the whole game long. We got Baneling nests going down for both players as well. I think it's my favorite kind of ZvZ, actually, the Ling Banes. So explosive. It's one of the reasons why I like the Disruptor as well as a unit. Just an incredible comeback mechanic is the Baneling versus someone that has lots and lots of Lings. It's all about the micro, the control, about being the superior micro player.
Exactly, and I just love when things explode, Maynard, and I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of exploding here in this matchup. We already have lots of Lings being produced here by Snute. He is going to make a drone behind this, so I don't think it's going to be a big commitment here, but definitely looking to put on the pressure.
That's right. Explosive units for an explosive series. 3rd going down for Hydra quite a bit earlier than Snute here. And Snute is aware of it, can choose to take his own at this point because he knows that he's largely going to be, for the most part, safe. But with that said, he is going to make 12 units, and he's making a Roach for it as well. Hydra spotted the Banelings.
Spotted both the Banelings, cancels one, but gets killed by the other. Definitely a win there for Hydra.
So now we see, at this point in time, with the Roach Warren halfway done, lots of Lings coming out, Snute going for a large timing attack here with a very powerful army to punish the greed of Hydra.
We got Banelings on the way for Hydra, but they are not ready just yet. Snute, actually, he does have a couple here ready to defend against the Lings of Snute. Snute going to have to morph some of his own.
He has his own, and this is when things get intense. Baneling and Ling versus Baneling and Ling. The best connections, efficient trades is what it's all about.
And not the best connection there, but he does get a nice trade on the Baneling of Hydra as well.
Oh, nice connection there from Snute, getting a good 4 or 5 Lings there of Hydra. And the real story is, yes, the Lings and Banelings are quite evenly matched, but Roaches are the big brother in the Zerg army, and they can definitely take on a lot of Lings and Banelings.
And Hydra now pushing across the map with his Lings. He's making only Lings and Banelings right now. It seems like he wants to put on pressure of his own, but look at this. Snute has denied the positioning of the Overlords. Only now does he scout some Roaches coming out.
Exactly, and Hydra is completely aware of what Snute's up to now. He needs to pull back, he needs to defend. He's getting a Roach Warren of his own. trying to keep this third hatchery up. If he keeps the third hatchery and he doesn't lose it to this attack of Snute, he's going to be in a wonderful position.
And he may just be able to 6 Banelings on the way, as well as 22 Lings, his own Roach Warren on the way as well. But the Roaches of Snute now in position to start shelling this third base.
They are, they're here and they're ready. The Banelings really want to connect with the clumped up units. They're gonna, whoa, will they kill the Ravager here? It's very, very close.
It's gonna survive. The Ravager does survive, and a lot of these Roaches still up and running. A nice Baneling hit there as well for Snute.
Yeah, he's tearing apart the Zergling army of Hydra, but he hasn't done critical damage to Hydra yet. We can see that he does still have a drone lead. He needs to kill a hatchery or something here as he's getting his own third up back home to be in a lovely position.
Yeah, Hydra having 11 Roaches on the way. Definitely going to be enough to defend here, as well as these Queens. Nice corrosive bile coming down, but I think Snute does have to run away now.
Yeah, there's quite a few units here from Hydra with the defender's advantage as well. He may need to change his crosshairs, pick a different target. You see the Lings of Snute coming in here, connecting with Hydra's units, but it just looks like Hydra has too much. He definitely does.
And he has held that third base as well. He's had the extra production for a very long time. Is he going to push across the map just yet? No, it looks like he wants to defend as he knows he is ahead and wants to keep that advantage.
This is an ambitious Ling run by here. We know that Hydra has too many Roaches here. It's not going to be a great trade for Snute. He has his third up. It's not saturated just yet, but they do have similar drone counts here at least. See that the resources lost reasonably similar as well, and yeah, it is quite close. 34 apiece.
Yeah, still very close. Both of these players now on 3 bases apiece. Got to give the small advantage right now to Hydra, but it looks like Snute, off the back of this, does not want to saturate that third base. He wants to go aggressive once again.
It looks like he's making that third base for lava to produce attacking units at this stage, as he really just only has one drone mining at it, and Hydra hasn't quite seen the saturation of this third, which would be a huge tell for him. We can see that there is a massive Ling flood of Snute just ready to take his attack through the middle of the map as he bowls up his units. 2 Overlords on the way. Both players are actually supply blocks for the time being.
Yeah, that one Overlord as well from Hydra. He's desperately trying to get into a position to see the saturation of that third base, or maybe just get a little bit closer to see the army composition of Snute here. And Hydra himself hasn't really overcommitted to saturating that third base. He's making a lot of defensive units here, and he should be okay.
Droning too heavily is a recipe for disaster often in ZvZ when you're up against a player that really knows when and where to attack with run-bys. A little bit of a juke here. The Overlord does survive it. It will go down eventually if Hydra puts more attention towards it. Snute beginning the Roach March. Ravager's leading the charge, and he's taking the path less traveled. Not many Overlords up here, so he's trying to spring a little bit of a surprise attack.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Roaches here, but mainly Zerglings to follow this up. A nice counterattack here by Hydra. He's going to scout some of this and possibly create some havoc in the main base.
Oh, Snute's actually in between the main and the army of Hydra, and he's got us around here with a lot of Zerglings. Snute pinned Hydra in position. Does he have enough to take him out, though?
He's got the Ravagers in the back, all of them going down really, really quickly. The Ravagers of Snute still in a decent position. Hydra trying to get in position to focus those down.
It actually looks like Snute's not doing too bad here. The Ling's helping out quite a lot. The Roach is getting a little bit low. The corrosive bile will connect, but Hydra is getting up there in the Roach count. 10 more on the way, and a lot more pressing through. The Ravagers are quite light, and Hydra will deflect Snute.
He's deflected it, and now Snute's mainly only the Zerglings in the army. Hydra up 30 supply at this point. Even though it seemed like he was caught out in the middle of the map, Hydra very confident to take that fight there.
Couple hundred resources lost extra for Snute, so he is behind at this stage, but definitely not dead at this point. Up, down below in supply, we see that the third, extra drones here for Hydra, extra income, extra army supply. And the Roach is coming in for some more damage. Snute with so many Lings does surround all the Roaches, and they will go down.
Yeah, really, really nice surrounds here, and the Roaches popping out for Snute. He should be able to defend this group of Roaches, but will he defend the reinforcements?
Hydra is streaming units across the map. Did he bite off more than he can chew, though? Snute's got the defender's advantage. It is easier for the defender in ZvZ. Very close to his production structure, which is the hatchery. 18 more Lings on the way. They've been great for Snute so far, but Hydra is starting to power over and think about the next step with the lair on the way.
He's trying to come around the back, and he's going to get a fantastic position on these Ravagers once again.
The Lings of Hydra also targeting down those Ravagers. Ravages. He's going to get, oh, actually doesn't get any. Snute with an efficient trade there. He's up in army supply, and he's pressing across the map once more.
Somehow, some way, even though Hydra did take a nice engage there, he didn't have all of his units together. The Ravagers of Snute really helping out as well. Hydra desperately trying to get some Ravage outs here for the defense.
And he's trying to power into lair, which means he doesn't have that many units back at home. A lot of the links here of Snute are all over the Ravagers of Hydra. Roaches are quite strong against links, but Snute is reinforcing this with links from back at home. Will it be enough? It is so close, Valdez.
It's unbelievably close. Really nice job dodging the corrosive bile. 72 to 72 right now. Hydra trying to get this defense. The Queen helping out a lot here as well. Some drones even pulled for the defense.
Yeah, drones pulled for defense, which is usually a good sign for the attacker, but he doesn't get that many drones. 3 drones going down. Snute not done yet, though. Still rallying across and pressing the issue.
Oh man, and more links coming across here. Snute just not able to close that one out. He does get a nice trade with the drones though, as you were mentioning, still behind 4. And Hydra, in fact, is going to commit to 3 more here.
Yeah, he's going to get some more drones to make up for his losses and start to lick his wounds a little bit. He's getting the Ravagers back at home. Both players have done a lot of damage to each other during this game. Mainly in army, but also in drone kills. See that the Queens are coming out for Hydra. Extra Queens, more transfuses, more creep. Roaches coming out for him as well.
Yeah, and nothing but attacking units here for Snute. He's once again going to try to get aggressive here on this map. The aggression just does not stop.
And this time, Hydra isn't going to engage a Ling Flood with just Roach Ravager. He is going to have 3 Banelings, and these could potentially be what gets him that incredible engagement to get a massive lead in this game.
Look at this, he's hiding it until now, but here come the Banelings. Snute forced it back off, really nice targeting.
The targeted man down. Banelings means no more splash against these Lings except for Corrosive Bile. He's Corrosive Bile. All the Ravagers go down, and Snute has too much army here. He's all the way in the third of Hydra.
Look at this, he's pushing the issue now. Roach is trying to get out here for the defense, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Snute so close to taking this game.
He's 20 supply up, he's got 26 more Lings on the way. Hydra hanging on tooth and nail, but will it be enough? Snute so close to that grand final. Is it enough? He can taste it. 50 drones have been killed. It looks like Snute has done it. He's 50 supply up, more now. The Queen supply, GG. A smile and a sigh of relief. Snute will be in the grand final at Sputnik Arena versus Pulse.
He's made it. He's defeated the Korean. Unbelievable performance from this Norwegian Zerg.
What a series. The dream is alive. Foreigners versus Koreans all the way to the last series here in Katowice at the Intel Extreme Masters Grand Finals.
Doesn't even look like he can believe it just yet, but he's got to believe it. He's made it, Maynard. Unbelievable performance.
Oh, visibly shaken there in the booth, but well played, and grats to Jens Snute Asgard, as he has the strongest and most dangerous opponent in the grand final for what promises to be an intense and electric best of 7 grand final. You can hear that crowd as Snute hits that stage.
Give it up for this guy. What a fantastic player.
What a guy, what a player. You're gonna hear the chants of that Polish crowd. So much hype. This final is going to be incredible, Valdez.
Look at that smile on his face. This guy's so happy to make it here. You can hear the crowd chanting for this guy to claps. It's amazing.
The atmosphere has never been more intense than when Snute took that 4th game against Root Gaming's Hydra. Both these players, all smiles, good friends, no love lost. Good sportsmanship shown here in Poland.
Really got to give it up for Hydra as well. Really nice performance, but Snute was better in the end in the best of 5, and we will be seeing him in the finals.
That's right. He's going to go up against the TVZ monster that is Polt. But without further ado, let's get the winner's interview with Red Eye on the stage.
Okay, Snute. I'm like that. How on earth have you just done that?
I don't know. Ravagers. I practiced a lot of ZvZ. I've had so much trouble in this matchup, and I worked really hard to fix it. And I think even if I played a little bit cheesy here, I used a lot of all-ins. I think I learned a lot about controlling the new unit, the Ravager, and I think I understand it a little bit better than the other players right now, maybe.
Okay, let's talk about the match itself. The first two games, one goes for you, one doesn't go for you. Very similar games. So what was different about game two?
Game 2 was very different, actually. That was the one on Larry Crest. I was able to get the lurkers out in time, and thanks to an overlord I had down at his expansion, I was able to see that he was not on 6 gases, so I knew that I only had to defend, and I would be able to have an advantage with having lurkers versus no lurkers at all.
Okay, final game. Just aggression after aggression after aggression. Was that the plan?
Yeah, I guess I got a little bit nervous and just had to resort to an all-in, and I was like, okay, maybe if he attacks into me, then I can jump on him. And we just went back and forth, and in the end, I was able to get some really sick corrosive biles onto his army with the Zerglings locking down, and then at the very end, the target fire on the triple Baneling defense that he had, and everything from there just worked out so well. I was down in economy, but the control made up for it.
Yeah, the control was fantastic. The surrounds were absolutely amazing. You've beaten Violet. You've beaten Hydra. You're now in the grand final to play Polt. You are one game away from securing a place in the global playoffs. How much would it mean to you to secure it this early in the year?
I care about this game a lot, so, obviously it would mean so much to me.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, another grand finalist is Liquid Snute.
A fantastic performance by Snute. There's no doubt here. He went on the stage, a slight underdog, some may say, and he's come out on top and he's moved through to the grand finals to play against Polt. Of course, we'll talk a lot about the grand finals a little bit later on, but we have to look back at that series and go through it a little bit here, Rotti. It was a brilliant performance from Snute, and he's continued to impress in this tournament.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. He found openings where there were openings. He mentioned a little bit the game on Laralac, but, I think the first 3 games, they're definitely things to talk about. That final game, though. Holy hell, that's one of the coolest ZvZs that I've seen in a little while. We look at it early on, it's like, it's going to be close. Hydra holds, and then Hydra holds again. It's like, okay, this game is kind of over. And then, you look down, it's like, hey, why are the supplies kind of close? And then you look at more Lings coming in, it's like, yeah, but Lings are not good against roaches, right? Well, apparently, if you're Snute, they are. Like, the surrounds and then dropping the corrosive balls in the middle of the units that he had trapped. Super cool, man. Very entertaining, and what a performance.
But great series are made by both players playing really well, I feel like. And I think Hydra played really cool, too. I loved, in that last game, the Banelings. He's like, you're doing a lot of evil things with those Zerglings. I'm going to counter that by having 4 Banelings. The whole place in here was like grumbling because we're all excited about it. But then Snute focus fires down the Banelings to avert crisis and goes on to win the series in convincing fashion, by the way. We were all kind of like, yeah, Hydra should really win this one pretty good. Snute impresses. And I love what Red Eye said too. He's defeated the other 2 Koreans. Imagine if his road to victory is to go through all 3.
How awesome is it that, like, in the start of 2015, we looked at the WCS year and we said, like, wow, with this system, we really think Snute is going to do very well. And the best performance he had all year long was the quarterfinals in WCS 2015 Season 1. 2016, not too many people were really hyping up Snute, and here he is. For the first time, he makes it to the WCS finals, and then he also goes up against a guy that already won 3 of these, and that's Paul. I think that's a super cool story.
I think he's also only dropped 1 map in all of his series here.
Against Major?
Yeah, just 1 map. 1 map like dropped in each series. So, and it seems to be one of the first maps that he plays too. He drops it and then he wins the next 3 or so. Really nice play. But what I really love about that final game is everybody kind of counted him out. Hydra blocked the all-in. I really looked away and I was like, oh man, I'm really sad for Snute. But then, and then even more fights happen where Lings, he got really good surrounds, but it just didn't work out. But then all of a sudden, man, those biles landing, I'm really, really impressed by Snute. Very happy for him.
I mean, one thing here before we go to the break and get set up, or maybe a couple of things. The confidence growing from Snute from game to game is very powerful, I think, going into this grand finals. It's obviously going to be a very different match against Polt because we know how good Polt is and we saw him destroy Nurcho before. But this is surely a very, very positive thing for Snute, this victory, on the stage in front of these Polish fans.
I mean, you can see how much it means to him, too. You can see him mentally working through this because I agree with you. He does seem fairly calm, but also I love the camera shot of him after he just won. He's trembling. He covers his eyes. Like, you can tell. Even on stage, basically all he can utter is he's like, I care a lot about this game, and you can see it in him. But to your point, we've seen Snute be a lot more erratic, a lot more panicky, and it seems that one of the things he's been really working on is his nerves, and it's paying off.
A big game, thinking back to a big Zerg versus Terran that I come to mind, and maybe you guys got a different one, brings me back to the Interstream Masters a couple of years back in New York when Snute played against Flash in the quarterfinals, I think it was.
He was 2-0 up in that series.
He was 2-0 up, ended up losing 3 games to 2. But that's like one of the big ones I remember on the stage, and here we have another one.
But this is way bigger though. Like this is actually the biggest game out of Snoot's career. Just looking at it, Snute has been a very successful player. He definitely had his good runs here and there, but often his runs were amazing performances in group stages and quarterfinals. And yes, he did win minor tournaments, or really awesome tournaments like Home Story Cup. But that's not the same as the ZvZ Grand Final. $35,000 on the line. Like this is by far and away the biggest game he's ever played.
This is who is the best player outside of Korea. And the players in this final as well can compete with those in Korea very, very safely so.
And it's a big moment for him too. I mean, one last thing is if he wins this, he gets that spot at the global finals, which we can say that he's been wanting for years now. Back in 2013, the system, he came very, very close to doing so. The same can be said in 2014, slipped up throughout the year, but it's on a plate for him. He's just got to be Paul.
Yeah, I mean, even if he doesn't, he already has a great start to the year. But yes, you make a very good point there. For years we said, is Snute going to make it to BlizzCon? There was this one year where I think he finished 2 ranks below 16, or the WCS Global Finals, the playoffs, that is. This would be amazing, if he makes it here already. But I don't think he's thinking about it right now, and I don't think you should really be thinking about it. As amazing as it is to already secure your ticket to those global playoffs, I mean, this is a championship, man. Like, you're in the final, WCS points, super awesome, and you definitely be looking at it after this. But right now, you want to pick up the biggest title of your career.
You go.
Oh, wow.
Gentlemanly.
I mean, he's English after all.
I just want to say, I think we talked a lot about this in the studio, too. I feel like that first round had a lot of tension. The rounds after it, certainly there's some built-in tension, but I feel like that was kind of mitigated a little bit. It's like, I already want some money. I'm doing okay. It's fine. I feel even in these semifinals, the tension started to ramp up a little bit more, but in the finals, it's round of 32 times 100, I feel. Like this, to come this close to winning a major tournament where this can be the crowning achievement of your career. Like Snute could talk about this at the end of his days in StarCraft. And to come that close, I feel like the nerves are all the way back up there again.
All right, well, a big moment for a lot of fans around the world as the Grand Finals is just around the corner. Before that, of course, a thank you to the ScoreEsports.com and Plays.tv for all your highlights across multiple games here at the Interstream Masters. Check them out, and then we're going to go to a very quick break. When we return, it's time for the Grand Finals.